surrender, surrendered, surrendering. I have surrendered unto the king what is due the king. Surrogate. I can't be your surrogate mother while your real mother is on her trip. Surround, surrounded, surrounding. We'll surround the building with police and then infiltrate. Survey, surveyed, surveying. The surveyor surveyed the new location for the house. Suspect, suspected, suspecting. I suspect that you are not being totally honest with me. Suspenders. My grandpa always wears suspenders to keep his pants up instead of a belt. Sustain, sustained, sustaining. Will you be able to sustain this level of expertise if we add the new technology? Swallow, swallowing, swallowed. I'm having trouble swallowing, doctor. Give me some medicine. Swamp. The swamp was filled with alligators, so I didn't want to wade out in the water. Swarm, swarming. The mosquitoes are swarming tonight. Swear, swore, swearing. He swears that he never had heard before that we were going camping. He swears that he never had heard before that we were going camping. Sweat. Dogs sweat differently from humans. Pigs sweat like humans. Sweater. That is a beautiful sweater, but it doesn't keep you warm, does it? Sweep, swept, sweeping. I'll sweep the floor while you straighten up. Sweet, sweeten. That dessert is too sweet for me. Switchmen. I suppose switchmen are still needed on trains these days. Sword. The Japanese sword is worth over $1,000. Symbol. Symbolic. We use symbols to represent concepts so that we can communicate faster. Symmetry. Symmetric. There's a lot of symmetry in nature. Maybe that's why people like human made symmetric constructs. Sympathy. Sympathetic. I have little sympathy for someone who lies. Syrup. May I get some maple syrup to put on my pancakes? System. This system is hard to understand, but easy to use. This system is hard to understand, but easy to use. Table. Let's sit down at our table now, and maybe others will follow suit. Tablet. I usually make notes on a tablet, but sometimes I use a plain piece of paper. Tail. You can tell that a baby pig is a miniature breed if the tail is straight rather than curved. Tailor. I will use the tailor you use to change the length of my coat. Take, taken, taken, took. I'll be taking the third level of calculus next semester. Talent. What talent she has. She can sing, dance, play piano, and speak intelligently. Talking. Let's talk this over before concluding that it's a sound proposal. Tannery. He got a job in a tannery working with the animal hides. Tannery. He got a job in a tannery working with the animal hides. Tavern. Let's get a couple beers in this English tavern. Teach. Taught. Teaching. I love teaching younger children, but not teenagers. I love teaching younger children, but not teenagers. Teacher. She's a wonderful teacher, but a terrible wife. Teamster. I am a teamster by trade, and this is the truck I drive. Tear. Tore. Tearing. He tore my shirt by mistake, so I'll need to go change clothes. Tease. Teasing. Teased. Stop teasing me and telling jokes. Telegram. We send a telegram to the winner of the contest so that they would know the results immediately. Telegraph. Do you know how to use a telegraph machine? Telephone. Let me first make a telephone call, and then we'll go to the movie. Tell. Told. Telling. I cannot tell a lie. You are ugly. Teller. The teller at the bank told me that I've an overdrawn balance. The teller at the bank told me that I have an overdrawn balance. Temper. Tempers raged when the news that the journalist had been killed was conveyed. Temperate. His answers are usually temperate, but occasionally he loses his temper. Temperature. Temperatures have been unusually high this year. Tempest. A tempest wind blew down all my newly installed poles. Temple. This is a temple where we pray. Temporary. This rain is only temporary, so don't put the badminton set away just yet. Temptation, tempted, tempting. The temptation to eat chocolate is always with me, but I fight to not give into it. The temptation to eat chocolate is always with me, but I fight to not give into it. Tenant. Have you been a tenant in this apartment building long? Tenement. She lived in a tenement building while growing up, but finally took to the streets. 10th. This is my 10th year of playing the fiddle with this band. Terrible. Terribly. The storm was terrible and the electricity was out, but we lasted the night by keeping a fire going. Territory. A dog marks his territory so that other dogs will keep out. Terror. You could see terror in their eyes as the unsightly old gentleman came slowly down the stairs. Test. This is a test of the emergency broadcasting service. If this had been an actual emergency, you would have been instructed what next to do. Testimony. My testimony is that I was nowhere near that school that day. Textile. Does he work in the textile industry, making garments? Thanksgiving. We celebrate Thanksgiving in November in our country, but other countries do differently. Theater. I love going to the theater, but the tickets can be expensive. There. If their children don't stop acting up, I'm going to spank them myself. There. There is going to be an intermission after the first act. Thereby. We will smile when she approaches, thereby giving her no cause to be upset. Therefore, they paid all our entrance fees. Therefore, I would like to now do them some kind of favor. Thermometer. Please check the thermometer outside to see what the temperature is. If you build it, they will come. Thicket. I got lost in the thicket and couldn't find my way home. Thief. Catch that man. He's a thief. He stole my jewels. Thigh. I got a bruise on my thigh when I fell out of the tree. Thimble. Put the thimble on your finger so you won't keep sticking it by mistake with a needle. Put the thimble on your finger so you won't keep sticking it by mistake with a needle. Thing. How many things will you be taking on the trip? Lots or a little? Think. Thought. Thinking. I think I might take a nap if you have no plans for me just now. Thirst. I cannot seem to quench my thirst after playing so much tennis. Thirsty. You look thirsty. May I offer you a drink of water? 13. How many are in a baker's dozen? 13, one more than a real dozen. 30. I just turned 30, and already I have gray hair. Thorn. The poor lion cub got a thorn stuck in its paw, and was crying just like a baby. Thorough. Thoroughly. He's quite thorough with his cleaning up around here. He never misses a dirty spot. Though we've known each other for years, we don't really seem to know each other. 1,000. You must have read 1,000 books. How can you not know that Pluto has a moon? Thread. If you give me a needle and thread, I'll sew up the tear on your sleeve. Threat. Threaten. Threatened. She threatened to disbar me if I didn't answer her questions. Thrice. I've gone there not once, not twice, but thrice. Throne. The king and queen sat on their thrones as if they didn't have a care in the world. Maybe they didn't. The king and queen sat on their thrones as if they didn't have a care in the world. Maybe they didn't. Throng. I couldn't break away from the throng of the concert. Just too many people. Prue, give Patsy your handkerchief, and now look through the window. Throughout the entire seminar, they kept saying, we want reform. Thumb. Let me have a look at your thumb. Does it hurt if I do this? Thunder. We could hear thunder, but couldn't see any lightning. Thursday. This Thursday, I'll be out of town. Could you take care of my mother for me? Cricket. That's the cricket that I've been looking for. Now we can both ride. Tide. The tides of the oceans are governed, amongst other things, by gravity. Tidy. I like to keep my house tidy at all times, just in case someone stops by. Tiger. The zoo has 3 different kinds of tigers. Time. What time is it? This time I want you to tell me the correct time. Timid. Timidly. One of my daughters is very timid, while the other is quite outgoing. How could that be? Tired. I'm so tired of your pedantic monologues. I could scream. Title. What's your official title? Do you go by Doctor or Mister? Toast. Don't burn the toast. That toaster is apt to do so. Tobacco. The tobacco companies always seem to bounce back from troubles. Today is a very special day. We are going to visit an art museum that you never even knew existed. Together, we will solve all of our problems, if you believe it to be true. Toilet. The toilet is pink, so it matches the wallpaper in the bathroom. Token. As a small token of my appreciation for all that you've done, I would like to present you with this watch. Tomato. Let's have a lettuce and tomato salad with plenty of cucumbers. Tomorrow. Tomorrow is another day to try to solve the problem. Tongue. My tongue is tied. I am at a loss for words. My tongue is tied. I'm at a loss for words. Tonic. I'll sell you this tonic, which will make the disease go away. But first you must give me some information. Tonight I'm going to take you to a very nice restaurant. Go get dressed. tonsillitis. The poor boy had tonsillitis, so went in the hospital to have his tonsils removed. 2. It's too hot. Please turn down the heat. Torment. Don't torment me like this. Just tell me what actually happened. Torture. Tortured. Torturing. The guards tortured the prisoners until they told them where the electronic equipment was buried. Total. Your total cost is $14.52. Please pay at the window. Touching. Don't touch my arm. It's bruised and hurts. Tough. That is a tough math problem. I might need your help. Towards. Move towards the light so that I can see you better. Towel. Hand me a towel to dry off the dog, would you? Town. Let's go to town and grab a bite to eat. Tracing. You can make a copy of the map if you put sheet paper over it and trace along the lines showing through. Tradition. In the long-standing tradition of our company, we would like to present you with a trophy for working 30 years here. Traffic. Traffic was horrendous. I thought I'd never get home. Tragedy. The tragedy is that the little girl will never see her mother again. Trailer. Do you think this pickup truck can pull a trailer with 2 horses? Do you think this pickup truck can pull a trailer with 2 horses? Traitor. Don't be a traitor. Be loyal to the party. Trampled. My rose bushes got trampled by everyone at the party. Transferred. I would like to be transferred to a different department, one where my valuable skills will be put to use. Translating. I need to hire someone to translate those reports before next week. Transportation. What kind of transportation do you usually use to go to the monthly meetings? Traveled. May I travel with you to Paris? Traveler. He's traveling selling his wares. He's never in a city more than a couple of weeks. Tread. Do you know how to tread water yet, young man? Reason. Mr. Barnsby is not the kind to commit treason against his country. Treasure. We found a buried treasure chest, but there were no treasures in it, only shells. Treasurer. I hold the office of treasurer on the board of directors of the institution. Treasury. If the company's treasury is ever in jeopardy, they'll simply come up with another plan. Treatment. Your treatment of your aunt is pretty outrageous. Why do you have a feud going on? Tree. What a lovely tree. It must be an oak tree. Trembling. Why you are trembling, my dear? What is the problem? Trespassing. There's a sign posted saying that no one may trespass on this land. There's a sign posted saying that no one may trespass on this land. Trial. Do you believe you received a fair trial? Tribe. The native Indian tribe was holding a special festival to which we were invited. Tributary. The stream is a tributary because it flows into the Mango River. It contributes to the river. Tribute. I would like to pay tribute to one of founders, Mr. Alex Vogel. Trifle. The text you submitted is a trifle flowery. Could you add in a few more facts? Triumphant. I feel very triumphant
that our football team won.
Trolley. A trolley runs on cables and tracks. Trouble. Are you having troubles with your computer, ma'am? Trousers. The color of his trousers matched his wife's dress. Truly, I'm really and truly in love with you. But I cannot condone what you did in the restaurant. Trumpet. Roll out the red carpet. Sound the trumpets. The queen has arrived. Trustee. She's a trustee of the company's board of directors. Tried. Have you tried running that program to see if it would help your problem?
Tube. Poor lady had
Tubes in her nose for feeding. Tuberculosis. She died of tuberculosis.
It was an unusual circumstance. Tuesday. If today is Tuesday, then tomorrow must be Wednesday. So that means it's time to take out the trash. Tuning.
I hired a gentleman to come tune the piano, but he hasn't shown up yet. Tunnel. They will be spending billions of dollars on these tunnels, so they darn well better have the efficiency of our city. Turkey. We think of turkey when Thanksgiving comes around, but what do we think of when New Year's comes around? We think of turkey when Thanksgiving comes around, but what do we think of when New Year's comes around? Turning. After inserting the key in the keyhole, turn it in a clockwise direction, very slowly. Turn it. I'm sorry, but I don't like turnips. I like other greens, though, like spinach. Turtle. Turtle can breathe underwater, right? What about tortoise? 12th. This is the 12th and last month of the year. 12. The old lady who lived in a shoe had 12 children but didn't know what to do. 20th. On the 20th car wash, you will receive a free wax job on your car. Twice. 1 cookie would be nice, but 2 cookies would be twice as nice. Twilight. In the twilight hours of the evening, I feel the most peaceful. Twine. Please hand me some twine so I can bundle up these magazines. Please hand me some twine so I can bundle up these magazines. Twinkle, twinkled, twinkling, the star twinkled way up in the sky. Twisted. I twisted my ankle when hiking, and it's all swollen now. 2. Give me 2 cheeseburgers and a large fries, please. Typing. How fast can you type? Not as fast as you can. How fast is that? Not very fast. Typewriter. I haven't used a typewriter in years. Only computers. Typist. If I don't use a typewriter, does that mean that I'm not a typist? Tyranny. It was clearly a case of tyranny. You've never seen someone abuse their power as much as this. Tyrant. Your boss seems like a tyrant, but sure is cute. Ugly. I feel very ugly today. I don't want to get out in public. Ukulele. When I was younger, I would play the ukulele and my sister would dance. Umbrella. They say it's bad to open an umbrella inside a house, but I don't believe in superstitions. Unable. I'm sorry, but I'm unable to fulfill your request today. Please come back tomorrow. Unbuttoning. As soon as I unbuttoned my backpack, it started raining. Uncertain. The future may be uncertain, but I'm optimistic, nevertheless. Uncle. Is your uncle your mom's brother or your dad's? Unconsciously. She was knocked unconscious by a flying baseball and only just now recovered. Underneath your house, I have stored some lawn equipment, but it may be all rusty now. Understanding. He cannot understand why we are visiting him at this hour of the night. Understating. I think you understand the immensity of the problem. It's really quite significant. I think you understate the immensity of the problem. is really quite significant. Undertaken. Would you undertake a project like this, or is it too big for you to handle? Undoubtedly. She is undoubtedly the best candidate as far as qualifications go. But what kind of salary does she demand? She is undoubtedly the best candidate as far as qualifications go. But what kind of salary does she demand? Uneven. Your Hamlin is uneven. Do you have access to sewing equipment? Unexpectedly. Martin unexpectedly showed up just as we were closing up the restaurant. Unfortunately. It's very unfortunate that you will be busy tomorrow. I think your party will be one of the best ever. Unfurnished. Is the apartment unfurnished, or does it have furniture in it already? Unhappy. You look unhappy today. Did something bad happen earlier? Unhealthy. Your dad looks quite unhealthy. I hope he's doing okay. Uniform. My son's school requires the kids to wear uniforms, and I think it really helps keep them in line. Union. I've never joined a union before, but I'm thinking about it now. Uniting. If our forces unite, we'll have the most powerful army available. Universal. Would you say that your solution is universal, or applies only to that one strain of the virus? Universities. At my university, we were encouraged to join social clubs, but I only wanted to study. Unknown. It's unknown whether Miss Simpson will teach this class or not. Unlawful. It's unlawful to drive down the median of the road. Unless you straighten up, you will never be accepted by the teachers. Unlikely. This behavior is unlike you. It's unlikely that you'll be accepted. Unnecessarily. It's unnecessary for you to continually point out my mistakes. I know when I make a mistake. Unseen. His entrance was unseen. Nobody noticed him until he actually spoke. Until now, I have thought you should go, but now I'm having second thoughts. Untried. That method of teaching has, as of yet, been untried. Unusually. Isn't it unusual for Sherry to miss a class? I wonder if something's wrong. Upholsterer. My mother was an upholsterer of furniture until last year. Upper. Let's sit in the upper balcony of the theater. Upright. Was it an upright piano or a grand piano? Upstairs. Is your bedroom upstairs? Do you want to show me your toys? Upward. Onward and upward is what I always say. Let's not look back. Urged. I urge you to reconsider the situation. Maybe we should both go instead of just you. Usable. That computer is usable, but it might not be as fast as this other one. Using. I could use some help from you if you're not too busy. Useful. What a useful book. It told me everything I need to know. Useless. This dictionary is useless because it doesn't give any examples. Usher. Ask the usher if she will help us find our seats. Usually. Is it usual for Beth to carry her own books? Utensil. Do you have any eating utensils, or should I buy my own? Utmost. This project is of utmost importance. Drop everything else you're working on. Uttering. He didn't utter a word the entire meeting. Vacant. How would you go about trying to develop a vacant lot? Vacation. I would like to take a vacation in the Bahamas, but is this a good time of year for that? Vaccinate. You really should vaccinate your pets before the prices go up. Vagabond. You could say he's a vagabond because he never stays in one place for longer than a couple days. Vain. Are you saying that I performed this job in vain? Why won't it do any good? Veil. Hills and vales must all be traversed. Valise. You can take your valise on the plane since it's so small. Valley. Down in the valley, you may make all the noise you wish. Valuable. Your help has been very valuable to our efforts, and we would like to give you a check in return. Value. I value your friendship like no one else. Vanish, vanishing, vanished. The wish vanished into thin air, without leaving a trace that she'd been here. Vanity. You seem to have a lot of vanity. Why else would you look in the mirror so often? Vapor. The chemical turned water into vapor. Variety. I like to sample a variety of wines before choosing the one we will drink. Various. If the various donors have contributed more than $10,000, then we will have reached our goal. Vault. Put our certificates into the steel vault for safekeeping. Veal. Veal's young calf cooked for eating. Vegetable. I only eat vegetables and fruits, so that makes me a vegetarian. Veil. The bride's veil must have been at least 8 feet long, but it sure was beautiful. Vein. The nurse couldn't find a vein from which to draw blood. Maybe I'm really dead. Velvet. Louis wore a lovely holiday dress, made of red velvet, to the ball. Vengeance. In her eyes was the look of vengeance. It seemed likely that she would retaliate. Ventilate. Ventilation. Let's ventilate this room a bit to get the old musty smell out. Venture. I would venture to say that Tom is ready to join our ranks. Verify. Verified. Verifying. I will verify that you actually work at these places, and then give you a call. Verse. Please read the verse at the bottom of the page. Very. We are very pleased that you've made such good grades at school. Vessel. Why don't we build a vessel and sail our cargo to Mexico? Veto. Vetoed. The president vetoed the bill as soon as it hit his desk. You knew he was against it, right? Vex. Vexed. Vexing. You're so vexing. I'd take anyone who doesn't irritate me like you do. Vice. What kind of vices do you have? Smoking, drinking, gallivanting around town? Victim. The elderly woman was the victim in a shooting crime. Victor. To the victor go the spoils. To the loser go the toils. Victorious. Our team was victorious, so we celebrated for days. Victory. Victory was in the air for us that day, and sure enough, we won all the competitions we entered. View. Viewing. Viewed. You should view the city from the Circling restaurant on top of this building. It's some view. Vigor. Vigorous. What vigor and vitality they had. Compare that to the other's weak and depressing approach. Vile. That old milk is vile. Throw it out. Village. Overlooking the little village was a lookout where you could see everything. Villain. Do you play the villain in the film or the hero? Vinegar. I like a salad dressing or just plain vinegar and oil. Violation. You've committed a violation of the state's traffic code. Violence. I hate violence in movies and on television, but it sells for some reason. I hate violence in movies and on television, but it sells for some reason. Violet. Violet is a nice color, but it's also the name of a flower. Violin. I learned to play violin in my younger days and was even in the school orchestra. Virgin. If she is a virgin, then she must be innocent. Virtue. Virtues. Paul has many virtues, but keeping his mouth shut is not one of them. Visible. Visibility. Is the lake visible in this fog? Vision. My vision has been getting steadily worse throughout the last 10 years. One day I guess I won't be able to see at all. Visit. Visited. Visiting. May we visit your store when we are in town for the holidays? Yes, please do. Visitor. I had a strange visitor last night, someone who you used to know. Vocabulary. Your vocabulary needs a lot of work. Did you never go to school and learn about words? Vocation. What is your vocation? Are you a plumber or a carpenter by chance? Voice. She got a voice like an angel, whatever an angel sounds like. Void. Voided. Voiding. I voided my check because it was written to the wrong establishment. Volume. Should we order a larger volume of albums that last time since they sold so well before? Should we order a larger volume of albums than last time since they sold so well before? Voluntary. Voluntarily. If you do something voluntarily, then you haven't been coerced. Vomit. Vomited. Vomiting. Vomit makes me sick, and when I'm sick, I vomit. Vote. Voted. Voting. If you vote for me in the next election, I promise to cut taxes by 1/2. Voyage. It was a long voyage. Nevertheless, we didn't run out of food. Vulcanize. We should vulcanize the rubber footstool feet so that they harden before we are ready to cover the cushion. Vulgar. What vulgar language? You are uncivilized. Wage. All I want is a fair wage for a fair day's work. Wagon. Get in the wagon, and I'll have the horse pull us to the fair. Wail, wailed, wailing. You could hear the wails of the villagers in the distance. Their God had forsaken them. Waste. Do you think I've taken a few inches off my waist? Waiting. I've been waiting for you for 2 hours. Where in the world have you been? Waiter. The waiter was terrible, so I'm not leaving a tip. Waking. Ronnie, go wake up Uncle Ron so we can get going to church. Walking. Every morning the vice president takes a walk to get his heart pumping. Wall. Over here we'll build a brick wall to keep our privacy. Wandered. She wandered all over the city until she felt she'd seen everything. Wanting. I want to go with you to the movies. May I? Warden. The prison warden was not a very nice man. I guess he is used to dealing with prisoners. Warmed. May we warm our hands by your fire before we continue on with our hike. Warning. Let me give you a very strong warning. Drugs can kill. Warrant. Put your hands up. I have a warrant for your arrest. Warrior. The warriors never let their shields down and defended themselves very well. Watching. Why don't we wash the dishes together? Washington. George Washington was the first president of the United States. Wasp. Be careful or a wasp may sting you. Wasting. You are wasting your life away. Figure out what you can contribute and then do it. Watching. I was watching your watch as its second hand swept around. Watchman. I'm a night watchman, so must keep the place as secure as possible. Water. Water is one of the most important elements of the universe. Way. This is the way we need to go to Sicily. Weak. I feel weak from lack of food. Can we stop for a lunch break? Weakness. The weakness of the tribe was clear when they were not able to defend their livestock herd as they'd always done before. Wealth. What are the factors that go into producing wealth? Land, labor, and capital. Wealthy. If you have good health, does that make you wealthy? Weapon. Throw down your weapons and surrender. No, we won't. Wear. Wearing. He was wearing a blue jacket, so it was easily found. Weary. I'm feeling weary. Maybe I should slow down. Weather. The weather has been very nice this weekend. No rain and little wind. Weaving. Wove. I could weave you a basket and put your name on it. Wedding. Did you have a very big wedding? No, only the minister and witness were there, besides my husband. Wednesday. We usually are not very busy on Wednesdays, but Thursdays and Fridays are always busy. Week. Maybe set up a meeting for next week. Wept, weeping. She wept after hearing the bad news. I felt sorry for her. Weighing. How much do you weigh? I weigh 87 pounds. Weight. The weight of the gold is 2 ounces. Welcomed. You are always welcome to visit me whenever you are in town. welfare. It's for your own welfare that I'm forcing you to save a portion of your money. Well, very well. We'll all go to the funeral together then. Western. You should wear a Western hat with a rodeo so you'll fit in. Whatever. I would like to go to the concert with me, but whatever you want to do is fine. Wheat. May I order wheat toast instead of white? Wheel. A tricycle has 3 wheels and a bicycle has 2 wheels, so a unicycle must have only 1 wheel. Correct. Wheelbarrow. My grandfather used to put us kids in the wheelbarrow and ride us around on the farm for fun. Whence have you come? From the town on the other side of the river. Whenever he makes that sound, I just want to punch him. Where should we go for dinner tonight? Whereby, I gave her the addresses of those clients whereby she would use them to send follow-up notices. Wherefore, we could possibly understand the wherefores if you would inform us of who was involved, wherein the contract wherein the statement about capital ownership exists is what I'd like to revisit. Wherever you go, I shall follow. Wherever I go, Timmy will follow. Whether we are going to make this presentation, whether you are involved or not. Making way the way my mother used to do it, not very efficient. The car which was broken was never sold. While I'm away, would you be so kind as to take in my mail? Whipped. We could whip this place into shape if we all pitched in and helped. Whirled. The clothes were whirling around so fast so I couldn't see whether mine were in there or not. Whisper. Let's whisper. After all, this is a library. Whistle. You can tell if he's in a good mood because he whistles a gay tune. White. If you want to get your clothes white, use our bleach. Whither shall we go? To my place or yours? Whoever has been making those nerve-wracking sounds has got to be stopped. Whole. Would you like a whole flounder or the fillet of flounder? Wholesale. We always buy our spices wholesale, repackage them, and then sell them retail. Wholesome. The cereal is wholesome, delicious, and contains all the vitamins a growing child needs. Whose shoes are these? Wicked. She could be a wicked lady at times, but always very smart. Widow. Mrs. Blumstead is a widow, so she makes her own living. Width. Could you please measure the width of the bureau, so I'll know whether it'll fit in my bedroom? Wives. Your wife has asked me to inform you that she no longer needs you to wait for her. She'll see you at home. Wilderness. Out in the wilderness, you'll often see wild animals worthy of study. Willing. He's willing to spend 2 hours each week tutoring you if you'll pay for his travel expenses. Willow. That must be a willow tree because it has long hanging leaves. Window. Can you see the city lights outside your window? Wine. I'd like to order a good bottle of red wine to go with dinner. Winter. This winter we'll surely get some snow. Wiping. Wipe the table off and then put the center flowers back on. Wisdom. In our wisdom, do people tend to like to know the truth about themselves? Witch. If she's a witch, then maybe she likes to perform rituals out in the forest. I'd assume so. Withdrawing. I withdraw my offer to read to you. You'll have to find somebody else. Withered. Plants that aren't watered properly will just wither and die. Without. I'm not without my friends, even though I'm old and ugly. Witness. Do you have a witness who saw you the night of the 11th? Woe. He seems to be full of woes and is rarely optimistic. Women. How many women are on your team and how many have been on all the teams you have coached? Womenfolk may not like the way you wear short dresses, but the menfolk probably do. I won't go with you, but I'll send my assistant if that'll please you. Wondering. I've been wondering whether you want to join our cause or not. Wonderful. It was a wonderful performance, but I wouldn't want to go again. Wooden. If it has a wooden tooth, then it would have decayed long ago. Woolen. They gave me a woolen bag to hold the groceries, which seemed odd. Word. I've heard no word from Aunt Susie. I hope she is okay. Working. Let me work with you. I know how to paint tables faster than anyone else. Worker. Marcy is a good worker, but is usually late showing up to work. World. The world doesn't need another Dennis, but having one is just fine. Worm. Let's catch a few worms for bait and then go fishing. Worry. Worries. Worried. Worrying. You worry too much. Brad is a grown man and can take care of himself. Worse. Which is worse, to pay more for a better quality ham, or to pay less for one that's good, but not quite as good? Worship. Worshipped. Worshipping. I worship the ground you walk on, but I can't commit a crime for you. Worst. What's the worst thing that has ever happened to you? Worsted. Worsted. The yarn is worsted and ready to be turned into sweaters. Worth. Will it be worth your while to come in, though you'll be an hour late? Worthy. I think this book is worthy of your attention. Wood. Why would you insist on carrying that bag for me when you know it's very light? Wound. She wound the ribbon around the package, but it fell off. Wrapped. Let me wrap the package for you. I'm a professional. Wrath. I wouldn't want to incur her wrath upon myself, so I follow all her instructions. Wrath. The school placed a huge wreath on the front door today. Wreck. Her apartment is a wreck because she's never there to clean it up. Wrench. Hand me a wrench, and I'll fix your faucet for you. Wretch. He looked like a wretch when he first walked in, but after a bath and putting on fresh clothes, he looked fine. Wretched. What a wretched way to spend a summer. I hope you don't have so much bad luck next time. Wrinkle. She doesn't have many wrinkles because she doesn't get out in the sun much. Wrist. Let me see your wrists. I can tell that you usually wear a watch. Right wrote, right and written. Let me write a poem for your next issue. Wrong. Am I wrong in assuming that you offered to take me to the dance? Xylophone. When I was a child, I could play the xylophone. Does that count as a musical instrument? Sure. Yawning, yawned. When I get in these boring lectures, I can't help but yawn. Year. This is the year when we will follow all our New Year's resolutions. Yellow. Yellow is my favorite color because it's the color of the middle of egg yolks.
Yesterday. Did you see him on Saturday or yesterday? Yet. I have as yet not been able to play cards with him. Yielded, yielding. Don't yield the right of way when it's yours to have. Yolk. Do you like omelets made with yolks or only egg whites? Yonder, over yonder, we used to romp around as kids. Young. You look very young. You couldn't be 16 yet, could you? Give me your tired and your rich, and I will give you a hopeful group of people. Yours. My cake looks the prettiest, but yours is the most tasty. Youth. The youth of today don't care about morals. Oh, really? How does it compare to the youth of your day? Zeal. He had a curious zeal for solving everyone else's problems. Zebra. Zebras look like small horses with striped pajamas. Zenith. Should we travel to the zenith of the mountain together? Zephyr. A zephyr from the west lightly blew the petals away until they were all gone. Zero. If you subtract 14 from 8 plus 6, what do you get? 0. Zest. Mrs. Mac had a zest for life like I've never seen in someone her age. Zigzag. You'll put a zigzag design on your dress, and then it won't be plain anymore. Zinc. You can't make galvanized iron without zinc. How do you think he transported it here? Zinnia. Zinnia plants are colorful. Could you shake the makeup of the stains? Zion. We'll travel to Zion on foot and then rest for a bit. Zipper. What do you think they did before zippers were invented? I guess they used buttons. Zither. I can play the zither, but I'm not very good at it. You should ask Mr. Licky to play. Zodiac. What is your zodiac sign? Maybe a Taurus or a Pisces. Zone. Zoned. This neighborhood is not zoned for businesses, so you can't put an advertising sign out in front of your house. Zoo. Let's all go to the zoo and see the animals. Zoological. He wrote some kind of zoological book, but I haven't been able to obtain a copy. Zoology. If you want to study animals, then zoology seems to be your major. Zooming. Let's zoom down to the chicken place, get some lunch to go, and head on to the zoo. Zulu. To have ancestors from a Zulu African tribe. Zwieback. I used to always order Zwieback bread here because it was better than anywhere else.